So what are the three marketing truths everyone needs to know when starting a new platform for the ground up? Because when things are not what they seem to be, you can waste a lot of time and resources. Good morning. My name is Peggy Van de Plassche. This is the Microdose Diet podcast where we talk about all things related to alternative medicines and personal development and how to use microdosing in order to boost your personal growth. So last week, my book and my masterclass went out. Woohoo! So now you have the tools and are fully empowered to introduce microdosing psilocybin in your personal development and your professional development routines. So welcome to more passion, more success, and more happiness. So this definitely calls for celebration, woohoo, but this launch also calls for reflection on the lessons I learned and the myth I busted along the way. So these insights are very relevant for anyone starting a new endeavor. Maybe writing a book, launching a software company, and anything in between. It is true that my specific platform of microdosing psilocybin for personal and professional development might seem at first glance a particularly challenging one due to the stigma and in some places illegality of the medicine. However, I like to think that most of you are looking for new solutions after facing many walls when looking for more success, passion, and happiness in your life and career. So it is not that far-fetched after all. So here it is, the good, the bad, and the ugly of marketing a new platform, whatever it might be. So the first truth about going viral on social media platforms. So this has probably been the greatest area of frustration for me and also the biggest myth I busted in this last 18 months. So first, by getting multiple times this well-intentioned but really stupid advice of, why don't you just publish a viral video? Gosh, I never really thought about it. I have always aimed at getting 50 views on my videos rather than 500,000. Second, this perception that there is a recipe for virality, for success on social media platforms. The truth is, like casinos, the ultimate winner of social media platforms is themselves. But you are going to tell me, Peggy, look at Mr. Beast, he's making a killing at it. Yes, indeed. He also started in 2012 at 13 years old. Now he spends an average of $2 million per video. And the methods he used at the time and along the way, they do not work anymore for someone starting now. So in the last 12, 18 months, the average number of views for my weekly videos on YouTube went from 200 to 1200 to 20. I have no idea why. Same content, same keywords, and actually better thumbnails. Algorithm said no. Social media platforms make monies out of ads. They have zero interest in keeping the playing field accessible and constant to anyone to be a new player in it by constantly changing opaque and inane rules. They ensure that newcomers' money flows to the ad versus to the content. There is already enough content on socials to keep users entertained for the next 20 years. Platforms don't need new players. Their rules favor long-standing successful creators. They do want to keep you hopeful, though. They want to keep you on the treadmill of creating. And as with most things, everyone has an opinion when it comes to social media success. But very often, these opinions are not based on facts, but on perception. This is even truer for social media marketing and what one should do. It is a lot of the old build and they will come mindset that I experienced in my previous world in software. So what is the takeaway here? So first, keep your head clear from the uninformed influences. You absolutely need a social media presence for credibility, for relatability, but the chances your next clients will come directly from there are pretty low. And when you factor the time, the effort, the resources you invested in social media, and that you could have invested in actually selling, the business case doesn't really fly. So spare yourself the heartache, the headache, the wallet ache of working with social media management agency. Most of them have absolutely no ideas what they are doing. So second marketing truth, public relations and media will sell for you. So my frustration here is a close second to the one I felt regarding social media platforms. After the why don't you just publish a viral video, the second most kindly administrated advice was, why don't you just go on Oprah? And yes, you guessed right. This was usually coming from the same people, going from one pearl of wisdom to another in the same breath. So I have news for you. First, you don't just get on a show like that. Your well-paid by you publicist will pitch you your message, your platform to the media. Then you see what sticks. Usually you start with small shows and then hopefully you graduate to bigger shows. Of course, some people without a publicist have been able to go on massive shows and very quickly with that. My friend Tracy T from Mom, and you can watch her interview in a previous podcast, she's an example of that. If you have a look at her press page on her website, Moms on Mushrooms, you're going to see she got incredible press very quickly without a publicist. But this is one in a million. And you also need to keep in mind that journalists are fickle creatures. One day they are interested in you, the next they are not. Or their editors shelve their articles. And they most definitely don't come back to you to let you know. Sometimes they just don't show up for the scheduled call, and that is how you guess that the wind has blown in another direction. Podcast hosts are very similar. For some podcasters, this feels more like a hobby than a business. And actually, for most of them, it is. So, of course, if you are Michelle Obama or Prince Harry, you won't have any issue promoting your last endeavor. If you are already a safe bet guaranteeing ice ball, this will be a win-win. Media is a business too. To stay in business, they have to show what their audience wants to watch, read, listen. Hence, the incredible amounts of clickbait articles, even on reputable publications you're seeing right now. They have shareholders, and this trickle down the line. So now let's talk business case. What really is the ROI of media relations? Based on my experience so far, the value is mostly on credibility and validation. By definition, the direct correlation between sales and media appearances is notoriously difficult to make. As an example, I was featured in one of the top 10 Wall Street Journal articles 3 weeks ago. There was a big picture of me speaking at the conference Wonderland. The journalist even mentioned the name of my book, the release date, that it was distributed by Simon & Schuster. So, I mean, he really supported the book and myself. So naturally, I expected to see a larger than usual number of visits to my website, as well as additional orders for my book and potentially my microdosing product. But none of that happened. So still, I do see value in having these logos on my website and on other social media, but does it really worth the time, the money? Once again, I don't know. So like testimonials, it brings social proof, but there is a cost to that. So what is the takeaway here? Investing in public relations, whether directly through a publicist or through one's own effort, is a really difficult calculation to make. First, you have no guarantee that you will even book an adequate media appearance. Second, if you do, the conversion rate is likely to be pretty low and it's very difficult to correlate. So in a world of finite resources, I believe that allocating these resources directly to selling, once again, is the best approach. And number 3 of the truth, the marketing truth when you start a new business, is about the real value of followers. Like most new platform, I went all guns blazing to build a community of followers. It did have a nice ring of guru leader to it, and I had always dreamt of wearing a long white gown and a braid of flowers, so that seemed very attractive to me. So I wrote about the conundrum of allocating significant resources to social media. Building a following is obviously linked to your success on social media, but not only. Anyone can view and like a video of a cat in a hat, starting with me, but that doesn't make a follower. A follower is someone who resonates with what you stand for. They are more likely to become a client than just a casual viewer, and they are also more likely to recommend you and your products to a friend. And this is where the confusion and complexity arise. Yes, technically, the more followers, the better. If you are monetizing your socials, you are likely to see more engagement if your number of followers is high. Also, you are way more likely to be offered a book deal, media appearances, speaking engagement, and so on if you have a huge active following. So the quality of your followers is what makes the difference. First, anyone can buy passive followers. If you ever picked up the book 1 Million Followers in 30 Days, this is basically the bulk of the author's strategy. I have to say, I did admire his chicken tongue attitude when I read this book. It made me think about the revolutionary weight loss programs that recommend to stop eating any food with sugar, fat, wheat, and dairy to lose weight. What a revolutionary approach! I definitely needed to buy your book to come to that conclusion. So this is where the mind game starts. A person who is engaging with your content might be interested in your platform or might be interested by your platform. And what I mean by that is that some of the followers or even non-followers who enjoy your content might never engage or actually follow you. While people who absolutely don't care about your platform but see a potential benefit in connecting with you will be all over you and your content on social media. This is the ultimate bait and switch. So your friends and family are a great example of that. They might like your content, sometimes comment, but they are not likely to become your clients. No man is a prophet in his own land. This still helps the evil algorithm, but it doesn't bring you any sales. While, especially for topics stigmatized such as mine, most of the comments are made in private or not made at all, which makes it very difficult to gauge the real interest of your platform and again doesn't play well with the omnipotent algorithm. This is why you saw the rise of micro-influencers, niche platforms with a very small number of followers, but very committed and engaged followers. So when it comes to followers, more is not necessarily better, contrary to popular belief. So what is the takeaway here? To build a quality following meaning engage, takes a lot of time, efforts, and resources. And we're back to point number 1. The question is, does it worth it? Depending on your business model, it might or it might not. If you are running a media company, for sure it is. Content is your business. But if you are selling software or even books, however, resources are probably better allocated elsewhere, whether by running pay-per-click ads, going to a trade show, or whining and dining a buyer if you're selling software, for example. So in summary, there is a lot of misconception when it comes to marketing, especially social media marketing for emerging platforms. And what was a great option for a company even only 2 years ago is already not relevant anymore. It is important to have a social media presence for credibility and for visibility. The question of the ROI, however, should be asked and answered more often. In addition, enjoyment is also something to take into consideration, especially in tiny structures. If you are drained when putting together content, when the value is likely not there. Personally, I love writing and I love interviewing great people, so that part of the job is really fun to me. But the moment I'm supposed to edit a video, a picture, or an audio, I totally tune out. I am not a graphic designer, nor a video editor, and I don't aim at becoming one. Until someone can prove to me that there will be a ROI in me becoming one of these things, my resources are better allocated elsewhere, even if that means playing with my cats versus editing a video. So thank you so much for being there. I hope you enjoyed this free marketing truth from starting a platform from the ground up. I know that these are pretty unconventional points. That's not what you're hearing all the time, but this is what I learned to be true in my last 18 months on working with social media. So again, my name is Peggy Van de Plassche. This is the Microdose Diet podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment so people can find this content. And I'd love to hear your perspective with how you're using social media in your own venture. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day.